Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm MD and today we're going to be scaping this big 4-foot white glass aquarium you can see behind me. There's absolutely tons to do, so let's get it. I think that means let's start. Yeah, let's just start. One of the first things I want to do is attach a background to the tank. So this is like just normal window film that you can buy online. Tons and tons of places sell it, so it shouldn't be hard for you to get hold of. Really simple to put on. First step, you need to spray down the back of the aquarium. I probably should have done this before putting the film in the way, but never mind. Roll it out so it's the right length for the aquarium. And then what I've done is tape it to the side. Next up, I want to peel off the protective layer to expose the sticky surface. Now you want to spray the sticky side liberally. A lot. You want to spray a lot on. Now flip the whole thing around, and because of the water on the surface of everything, it should just be sort of sucked to it, if you like. You might have to adjust it a few times, but that's absolutely fine. It's no problem to do that. Next, we want to use a squidgy, or I'm just using a plastic card, to gently push all the water out to the edges. Again, take your time with it and inspect things closely because you can quite easily miss big pockets. Once you're happy with the result, you can now get a razor blade, and it's just a simple case of running it along the edge of the glass. It's actually quite satisfying to do as well. Right, that's looking sweet. Let's get started on our first layer. So the first layer going down for our substrate system is the JBL Volcano Mineral. This is a really porous stone that's going to allow maximum area for beneficial bacteria to colonize. And then on top of that, I'm sprinkling some volcano mineral powder. And then, just because I had it in the cupboard, some Plant Start by JBL as well. On top of this, I'm placing some recycled substrate from some of my previous setups. It's basically just a mixture of sand, aquasoil and fine gravel. Whenever you break down a tank, you always end up mixing all this material. I could never bring it in myself to throw it away, so I've just saved it all in big tubs. Not only is it going to provide extra nutrition for the plants, it's also going to give us added height to the scape before we put our decorative sand over the top. Up next is the Tropica substrate powder, so we can hit it with even more nutrients in this base layer. And then I'm using this plant fertilizer. It's a really cheap way of adding even more nutrients to the whole system. I've used this before in many setups. It's completely fish safe and doesn't cause algae or anything like that. Obviously you want to keep it under the sand, of course, though, and in this nutrient layer. And then to top it off, some Tropica nutrition capsules as well. And once again, you can see here that I'm absolutely killing that Crocs and socks look. I'm then pouring our capping sand all around the edges just to make sure that none of this substrate system is showing. It can look a little bit ugly otherwise. Click subscribe. And then sand, gravel and aquasoil mix again just to cap everything and lock it all down. And you can see here that I'm building up 2 mounds. This is because I want 2 high areas in the scape, and this will be the best way to do it before we cap everything. And then it's just a case of covering the whole thing in 1 to 2 inches of our decorative sand. Now I'm planning on carpeting most of this tank, well, fingers crossed, so the colour doesn't actually matter, you're only going to see it in the front of the tank. But to be honest, I really like this grey/white, and I always think it looks tidy. Okay, so that is our substrate system done. Hopefully you can see there, look, we've got 2 sort of mounds, one right off center, so center is about there, so off center the highest mound, another shallow mound, and then no mound, because we've got 3 pieces, so we'll have 1 high there, 1 medium high, and then 1 lower on this corner, and that'll give us a really nice look. Now I have no doubt that some of that stuff that was all underneath will actually come through at some stage. It's inevitable, but it won't matter because I'm planning on doing full carpeting over the whole lot. So the actual colour and all that doesn't actually make any difference at all, to be honest. But this was some stuff that I could find locally and it was available, so I went and got it. I might add more details and everything like that to it later on, but for now, that's our base. Ooh, there we go. You might have seen I was struggling there with that piece a little bit because I found that I didn't want the matching angles, these completely different, and then that one following that one. I can't really explain what I'm doing there, but I think that looks cool. It leaves lots of room for rocks to go around them as well, and then loads of room for planting. There's so much planting space, look. Now, it's hard to get a sense, isn't it, from here, like how much space there is for planting, but when you come up here, oh, it's just tons and tons of room. I do love a nice big aquarium. Now, what kind of Asian themed aquarium would it be without dragonstone? So I've got quite a bit there, not a huge amount because I don't want to put too much all around all this scape. Oh, I've added a couple of cool pieces of wood as well to that one on that side, just to accentuate it a bit more. I don't know if that's the right word, but we'll go with it. Oh, awful reflections going on. So for this scape, I don't want to do the whole retaining wall thing with rocks like I have done before, like I have on this one, to be honest. This is my South American sort of tank, apart from the dwarf neon rainbows you can see there. So I've got angelfish in there, look. I've got Buenos Aires tetra. I've got some nice cories in that as well. But and some rams, I've got some Bolivian rams as well. But that one, I just did a whole retaining wall. You can see it goes all the way across there. That holds back a whole load of soil at the background that comes all the way up to halfway point in the whole system. And then all the plants and wood sit on top of that. It works really well, but like I say before, I don't want to keep doing the same things all over again. There's no point in that. So that's why I'm going for something different with this one, where it's all on one sort of level apart from the hills. And then I'm going to put all of the, all that really good dragonstone coming out at nice, good angles. Not too much, because we've got so much like aggression coming from this scape. I think it's a very aggressive look, isn't it? But you can see there's some big areas like here where there's nothing in there and there's nothing there. Well, I've done that on purpose. I want there to be tons of plant life all shown in those areas. I want a nice sort of pathway coming up this side, maybe that side as well, or maybe none. I think initially I'll just start planting and then hopefully it'll just carpet wherever it wants. I'm not going to try and tame that, just plants everywhere. Click subscribe. Yes, that looks fantastic. I think you can see there how I've tried to keep the angles of the wood going. in, you know, conjunction with the rock as well, so it just creates a much better flow and kind of looks like it's followed the path of a water system or something. I'm probably talking rubbish there, I don't know, but either way it looks quite cool. You know, I think you can see what I mean. Like, look at that one there for there, there for there, so it's just crisscrosses, basically crisscrosses everywhere in the 2 islands, one big one, one small one. I think that looks really good, but I might change this light, because if you notice behind it, I've got these 2 sort of gooseneck ones. They're basically like Kessels, but not Kessels. They're really, really cheap on Amazon, but they are amazing and they pack a really good punch. In terms of total lighting, it won't actually change the amount that much because they're about the same sort of par levels. But what it will do is look miles better in the aquarium. It casts better shadows. I just really like the spotlight effect. So if you look over here on this aquarium, my angelfish aquarium, if you look above it, look at the ceiling. It does that glistening, and if I had all the other lights off, you'd see quite nicely as well. It shimmers everywhere. Everywhere shimmers. If I take a look now over to the goldfish aquarium, we've got the same light as above the other one. Look. Well, that shimmering you can see is actually from over there, and it's just a tiny little bit, but it illuminates everything, and I don't think that look is as good as this look. So here it is now. Now, let me step around. I'm trying to walk around everything here. I've got so much stuff in the way because we're building. But yeah, so there it is now. And here it is with the spotlight. So it's a hell of a lot more dramatic. Look at those shadows being cast. And you just know that when that water's flowing all across the surface there, it's going to be glistening all across this whole ceiling, which I think will look amazing. So yeah, I'm going to go with those. I'll leave a link to these in the description as well, guys. You can buy them on Amazon. They're really cheap. They're really, really good though. They're actually fully metal as well. I'm not affiliated with the company at all, but I just think they're a really good product. I did have one of them on the Ikebana aquarium over here, but look what it's done to the water. It's just green dust algae. It'll just go with a water change. None of it's actually on the plants at all, but it was just way too strong for this tiny little nano, so I've gone back to this 2-3 watt one. That'll work a treat now. It just needs a water change. So far so good, I think, but it might look a little bit crude at the moment. That's basically because all the sort of open areas and gaps you can see all over it, they're going to have plants in them. I deliberately leave gaps here there so you can just put the plants into them. I'm talking about plants that you don't push into the substrate, so epiphyte plants like Anubias, Bucephalandra, Java ferns, all those sort of things. You don't need to plant those into substrate. You place them on the decorations, so i.e. the rock and the wood. It's quite hard to explain at the moment if you've never seen anything like this before, but for the rest of you that have seen my builds, you'll know what I mean. What we've got behind us is basically the platform to put plants onto. It's a framework. Now about that framework, it's very important now that we lock everything down, because I'm not sure about this wood. I think it is dense enough to not float, but I'm not sure and I don't want to take any chances. So I'm going to be using some cotton wool and cotton wool pads to pack in some of the areas next to the rocks, and then putting some super glue onto that. Super glue is completely fine and fish safe, by the way, guys. And then what that basically does is the cotton wool will just turn into like a solid, and it will attach to the rock and it will attach to the wood and stop everything from floating up. As simple as that, hopefully. Right, so the cigarette method isn't working, and that's basically because the gaps in between the rocks and the woodwork is a little bit too large. So I'm going to switch it up and use this aquarium silicone and just fill in those gaps. I can just really squeeze that then and just fill those gaps really easily, and same about all around. And the good thing is that this is clear, so you shouldn't see it. But even if you do, we can apply some super glue to it and put mosses and rocks and or broken up bits of the dragonstone if we want, just to cover up that. But it shouldn't be a problem at all. You shouldn't be able to see it because I'm only going to be putting it in places where it's in contact with the wood, so you're not really going to see those anyway. Plants are going to be covering this whole thing, so don't have to worry about that. Click subscribe. So now it's just a case of letting all that set overnight, which is perfect because tomorrow my plants should be arriving from Tropica. They send it to me direct because they sponsor the channel, which is absolutely great because it means I can make cool setups for you and for me. The plants are absolutely top notch as well, straight from their greenhouses. You'll see when they arrive, I'll unbox them. Oh, beautiful plants. And we've got absolutely tons to choose from as well because like I said, I want a full carpet going on in here. So for a full carpet and a 4-foot tank, you need a lot of plants. But for now, it's very late and I need to get some sleep. So I'll see you tomorrow. Right, it's the next day, guys, and guess what? The plants have arrived. Right, we've unboxed. That took a while, but Tropica have absolutely come through here. Look at these plants. They're so good. Don't worry. I'm going to like list every single one as I plant them. I'm not going to go full out now, but come on. Oh my goodness. It'll focus. I've got one as well here that I've never used before that I've wanted for ages, and that is the Blixa japonica. Blixa japonica. I think you just pronounce it how it's read with these sort of things. Anyway, yeah, so that is awesome. Really looking forward to getting these in. First of all, though, I'm going to have to get some of these in water because they're not actually ready to be planted just yet. We're nearly there, but not just yet. Actually, you know what? I've got a better idea. I'm going to keep them in this tub and just spray them right down, put the lid back on, and then I can pick and choose and take my time with the planting process then. Don't have to put them all in water either and keep pulling them in and out then. That's probably the best idea. Definitely the best idea. Right, now that the wood is fully secure, look, it's fully secured and locked in with all of that sealant, aquarium sealant that we put on, it's actually now ready for me to start putting on some of the moss. So I'm going to be using loads of what you can see in here. There's a few varieties, but if you keep everything trimmed short, not like that, I've let that grow for a reason so I can use it all. But if we apply it to here using some cotton thread, just wrapping it around, I think that gives us the best look. If you glue it on, it can look scraggly, but if you tie it on nice and tight and keep trimming regularly, it grows really compact and really, really nice. That's what I did with this stuff down here. And you can just see how good that looks, see? That's where I wrapped rocks in cotton thread and let it grow slowly out. So that's what I want to do on these bits of wood here, the big bits. Not cover them, but some nice key areas. That is all the moss that I want to add onto the wood at the moment. So there's quite a bit on there, look. It's looking really, really good. I'm going to have more moss in the foreground. I'm going to attach that all to rocks and put that in, you know, exactly where I want it to be. So filling sort of areas like here, in the corners, some coming off of the actual hardscape and into the foreground. I also want to add in loads of Java fern and Anubias, Bucephalandria and all that. It's time to get that stuff on there now. We can either cram that in between all the gaps that we've got, or we can glue it to surfaces very, very easily. And I've actually got loads to choose. Oh, hang on. Yeah, as I was saying, I've actually got loads to choose from down in this little storage tank I've got down here. Still got my cave fish in there actually, which are getting... Oh, be quiet. That's the filter that's actually going to be running in the Asian aquarium. I've got it actually acting as a donor at the moment into this tank just to keep all the cycling going on, and it's now making some crazy noises for some reason. It's an Awase Thermo 250. I'm going to put another filter inside this one as well because it's going to be too big for just that one little filter. But for now, let's get all that nice Java fern and Anubias we've got in there onto the hardscape. So that is now all the epiphyte plants attached that I want to do. I think it looks really, really good. This looks like two little plant islands. I was going to add like more details coming out the foreground and sort of creeping in, but you know what? I think with all the plants we've got, which are all down in there, I think they're just going to look awesome on their own. Full carpeting system going on. But the next job now is to start preparing all of these. It's going to take a while. Time lapse. Gracie, you've absolutely ruined that shot and also those pots. Mummy's going to go crazy. Right, so that's all the newly arrived plants, all prepared, but I've got some more to prepare. So in my other studio here, look, let me zoom out. Oh, there we go. In my other studio here, I've got a load of crypts here, all prepared. I've got a couple down here already. This is the Wenti Tropica, looking awesome. They're just growing nice. We've got some Parva, we've got some Wenti XL, oh, loads of them, loads of crypts. These arrived about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've just kept them in here ever since. Just look, just a bit of aqua soil, some water in the bottom there. That's not focusing. Bit of aqua soil, some water in the bottom there, and then air, and then just close the top up with some kitchen. That's not kitchen. Cling film, shrink wrap. Leave a small gap at the edge, like that, and then you've got your own little greenhouse. Little light on it, perfect. Yeah, so what I'm doing here, guys, is, sorry about reflections, is I'm just slowly filling up the foreground. Because the whole thing is banked backwards, I'll probably be able to fill up to about this line here first, plug in all of our sort of foreground plants we've got in these pots, and then I'll be able to fill up a little bit more and do the back bit, and then even more and do the back. It's just so much easier to plant into stuff when there's like a little shallow bit of water, you know, just like we're getting there now. Look, so you can see that. Obviously I need that to spread all the way across though as it fills up. I'll put the plate here and the filter floss just to make sure it doesn't disturb everything. That's the disturbance we've got so far. I can deal with that, so that's cool. Right, so a lot of people have said to me that they struggle with planting with the tweezers. So what you want to do is you push straight in, or look at my angle there, going in at an angle, but pushing down so that it comes straight. And now I let go of the pincers and move them out a bit, and then pinch again, push in, let them go, pull out a bit, pinch them in, push in, let them out a bit, and you just keep doing that. And there you go, look, see, you'll see when it bites, and you can pull away, and it's fine. Simple as that. You don't just go straight in, let go, pull out, because that'll just pull it back out again. You've got to tease the sand into the gap where the tweezers were pinching. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that is all of the carpet and plants in. There's a bit of a mix there. That's deliberate, because I just think foregrounds look better if you carpet them with like a complete mix. It just looks more natural to me. Kind of like a garden meadow or a wildflower meadow, but without flowers. You know what I mean? Some of the hair grass there will shoot up taller. The glossostigma will go nuts. It does really well in my water for some reason. And the Monte Carlo as well can be quite invasive, so you've got to keep on top of that with trimming, but I think it's just going to look fantastic overall. I'm going to kind of let it just do its thing though, and just leave it to its own devices, and I think that's going to give us the best look. So that is all of our foreground plants now done. There's absolutely tons in there, but as you know, I like to plant nice and densely from the start, and then you get a really good result. For the background plants, all of these that need to go in there, I'm going to plant them a little bit different. They're not going to be random. I'm going to put them in sort of like a Dutch style where they're in their own sections. I just think that will look really cool growing through as their own colours. And what's good about that is if later on I want to mix it up, I can just take trims and plant them anywhere. So that's how I'm doing that. Go. Right, that is everything planted and in. I did it as a time lapse because I can't really show you what's going on with it behind there, but I'll hold it still here while I'm talking and overlay some of the plant names so you guys can get a better understanding of the sort of plants that you want to be putting at the back of your tank as well. Hang on, let me get right in there. Oh, this is very difficult. Obviously, all of these plants are going to grow really tall in the background, so you're going to see them then. But to start with, they'll stay down where they are. And then the same over this side as well. This is actually where the filter inlet on this side is going to go here. So I've left a little gap for that. It's important to plan ahead for those things. And the other filter, because I'm going to run 2 filters, is going to go on the front here and just blow across the front. And we'll just get that good circulation. I'm going for 2 filters because it's quite a big tank, obviously, as you guys know. It is, in fact, 1.2 meters, which is 4 foot. The same as this tank here. Now this tank here has got 2 filters as well. It's got an Awase, is that the 600? I think it is. It's just massive. And then it's got a 250 the other side. So we've got that circular rotation going on all the time. And as a result, it's made this tank just look absolutely fantastic. So that's what I want to do as well on this one. But what we need to do now is fill it right up with a load of conditioned tap water. So I'll put the hose in, add the conditioner as it's filling. And there we have it, guys. I wasn't taking any chances. I put those rocks up there to make sure the wood stays down. I think it's dense enough to stay down anyway, but I'm at least going to keep them on for a few days. My wife actually came in and said, "Oh, I like those grey rocks you've got on it." No, they're not staying. I've also added a little donor filter here, just get some warm movement going, because the filter that's going down is this one. It's not going down, it's going on, but it's got these ugly black pipes at the moment. I've got some real nice stainless steel pipework coming from Amazon today, so I'm gonna wait till that arrives and then I'll get that all installed and it should start to look fantastic. It's got like a proper ADA feel to it with those lights, and it's got like a greeny tone to it, all of it. I think it looks really cool actually. Completely different, to be honest, to the look of this one. I do like this one, but there's no point doing stuff the same, is there? So this is more ADA look. You know, everything on the ADA videos has got that sort of greeny bluey tone to it. That's what I'm sort of getting here with those lights. Looks great though, like it. So there's loads of foreground plants. They will spread in no time at all. Glossostigma for me grows incredibly fast, even without CO2, but I'm gonna add the same little CO2 system that I've got on my better tank here. This is the Ikebana aquarium that's got Mike in. He's loving it. He's doing really, really well. This tank's doing well. A little bit of green dust algae, but that's okay. It's a new tank. We'll allow that to happen. But yeah, this is the CO2 system. It's just a tropical little cartridgey one. I've got a whole kit of it down there ready to go in. Excuse all that mess. I'm just sorting it all out at the moment, but got an extra canister there as well. Yeah, so we're going to put that in. That should look great. So the tank has now been set up for 1 day and it's gone completely clear. It looks absolutely perfect. I've managed to be able to remove the rocks as well. So it turns out that the silicone held, and I don't think it's going to float. Also, I'm going to be needing to do lots of water changes, which I would be anyway, because inevitably a load of that nutrients from the soil that we put in there is going to be leaching into the water column. So 50% every day, at least for the first week. And then every other day 50% for the second week, and then every third day for the third week, and then just taper it in as you see fit after that. Now obviously guys, that's not all the fish we're going to have in here, but that's all I'm putting in for this video. In a few weeks time we can add a lot more fish, but when the system's setting itself up like now, you don't want a massive bio load. What we've got there now is plenty just to provide some ammonia to the bacteria, or the beneficial bacteria in the filter system that we've got, which is already cycled, and that's why I can obviously add these fish straight away. But anyway, if you got this far in the video, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell, because obviously there's going to be future updates, more fish, the plants all growing in. This is going to go really, really well. I feel like it is already. You know, sometimes you just get a feeling, and I've got a feeling this tank is going to be really, really good. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next MD build video.